Oh, hi. So, I have been invited to a cyberpunk themed party. I'm going to say that cyberpunk, let's go with, is a subset of the sci fi genre. That is a steep reduction, oversimplification, and might not even be all that correct. But that's what we're going to go with. This video is not about breaking down what cyberpunk means, so I'm just going to give vibes for people who don't really know what it is. Um, Imagine a neon city with flying cars and criminals galore with robotic or synthetic parts in their bodies and or brains. Uh Terrible description, but it might at least get you close to what I'm talking about if you don't know what cyberpunk is. When I first learned the theme of this party, I immediately thought of the Closet Historian. She's a creator here on YouTube who does a lot of different types of sewing, at least different styles, and she will also create her own clothing collection based on a certain theme, and she has one that is cyberpunk themed. Yeah, I think it might actually be one of my favorites. She also has like this dark gothic one that I also love, but like that and the cyberpunk one are neck and neck. The clothes, if you're familiar with the role playing game or the video game Cyberpunk, it just seems to fit so well. I immediately thought of that clothing collection slash lookbook that she did, and I rewatched it. I'll link it, and she is wearing in a few of her outfits that she puts together this garment. She has a coat and a vest version. I'm going for the vest version. That is just a simple vest, but it has a collar that you can fold up into a mask that comes up to about halfway up your face. Hers also has a hood, which it just looks fantastic. I love it. And it felt very doable. I have a full body mech suit, if that makes any sense. I have a really cool looking skirt that gave me sci fi vibes, and I felt paired with this vest, my look would be complete. I feel like it would be good enough for a cyberpunk themed party. So the first thing I had to do was make a pattern. I learned how to make a bodice block and alter that bodice block to create the styles I want from watching her. She's where I learned how to do this. So I was pretty much already set up to follow her instruction because she also used her bodice block to create the pattern for this vest. I took my bodice block and I drew out the front and then mirrored it. Usually you just need one half of your body because it's going to be the same. However, this vest is a wrap closure, so I had to mirror the front piece so that I can draw in the the side wrap part. That probably made no sense. If you've made a wrap garment, maybe you understand. If you haven't, it's magic. I don't know. So, I did that part. I pretty much followed her entire video. So if you want to actually learn how to make this vest, please go watch it. Here, you'll just see me futzing around until I find out what works. I did that, and after I copied both sides of my front, I went in, I drew the curve for my wrap garment, and then I moved some darts around to kind of turn this into a princess seam garment a little bit. Just the front part. The back, I'll just leave the darts. That's usually what I do anyway, even for my other princess themed garments. And there's a lot of finagling. I You'll see. You'll see. But if you want an actual breakdown of what's going on, why this works, how it works, it's in her video. What you see me doing here is labeling because I'm about to separate the pattern piece where I want the princess seam to be. Then I'm going to cut down my dart leg and remove that dartfulness. This is basically the foundational concept of turning a darted pattern into a princess seamed pattern. And once I'm done with that, I will have a front and a side front piece. Now that my pattern is done, it's time to cut out. All right, so I am in the process of one making this vest, but also cleaning out my closet. So there might be some stuff back here you can see. Sorry. So I have cut out all the pieces. What do I have? So this is the front, one side. Both sides are of this poly twill. And I also have not all, but like some of the edges flatlined and basted together. In Bianca's video from the Closet Historian, she did a bag lining. So you have the fashion fabric, lining fabric. So certain parts of it, flip it. I just prefer flat lining. I'm a historical slut. I don't know what to tell you. I just prefer it. So that means I'm having to go through her whole video, trying to figure out what her construction steps were, and then come up with my own. It shouldn't be too bad. I have the pieces, fit them together. So I created uh, a princess seam like situation. So now that the edges that are going to be princess seam together are flat lined and basted together, then I can go through and sew this. What I have not done is did a princess seam for the back piece. I still just have those as darts, so I'm going to sew those darts up and then sew the princess seam because I think that's going to be easier without the back connected to it. And then once I have the princess seams and the darts, the side seam. This also technically has a hood, which I like the idea of, but like that's not the part I'm really interested in, especially since my hair still looks like this. This is a lot to fit in a hood. So also, did I mention that this party is today? It is now. It's now today. So that should be news to you. So yeah, I'm gonna sew some seams and come back. Okay, bye. Okay, as you can see, time has passed. I have sewn the princess seams for the front, the darts in the back, and I also did side seams. I just have the shoulder seams pinned at the moment. So technically this has a tall collar and a hood. Seeing as it has gotten quite late, I don't know if a hood is going to happen. by the time I need to leave or by the time this party starts. But yeah, this is. I'll get back in there. This is it so far. So it comes across and wraps. So I think this is like a little too low. I want it more midriff. And also, yeah, my back is always shorter than my front. Again, this is not a perfect pattern. It's just the pattern I've made most of my clothes from. Yeah. Okay. Get get up in here. Yeah, you're supposed to be up in there. And then this comes over here. And yeah, so I probably want to cut off like the bottom 2 inches. And when I did the mock-up, and I did do a mock-up, I realized that this was a bit long, but this is it so far. Um Collar? Let's get the collar together. Let's do that because that'll make it feel more like the sci-fi vest I'm going for. Okay, so side seams are sewn. Let's go cut out the collar piece. Eh, Not the hood, not the hood, not the hood. So, making this collar was a bit of a journey for me. I am not well versed in drafting collars. Most of my garments don't have one, honestly. And the few that do, I made with a pattern that I already purchased. So, I had to watch and rewatch the Closet Historian's video to figure this thing out. And so, it starts off by you got to tee a line off. And then from there, you have to measure out your front and back neckline and then start to tip up a little bit to make the standing collar. And then from there, extend that little tip up to turn the collar into a lapel. And so that's kind of what I've drafted here. It took a few trials and mock-ups to figure out exactly what's going on. And I, took the rest of the vest and measured it to the lapel length to make sure it was stopping far enough down the vest. Once I had an idea of that, I cut it out. And once I've done a few mock-ups, I think this is the version one. I think I did a bit of tweaking after seeing how high it was. I didn't quite like it, but this version worked pretty well. So I took the fashion fabric and then I cut out two of those, two, one side for each. And for the lining, I did that in this really beautiful purple silk. And so that's going to be the inside, which when you flip the collar out, you will be able to see. Okay. I have cut out the collar, fashion fabric, and lining. If I were to do the hood, which definitely isn't happening today, I might take it apart and add a hood, but is not going to happen today. The hood would also have this lining, so that when I have the stand-up collar stood up, you see the black, but when it's like lying open, it'll look like that. So I'm going to sew the three sides that aren't connected to the neck once I figure out what side that is. For the lining, the rest of the lining is either uh, the poly twill that I'm using for the fashion fabric, or just I think cotton that I got as a remnant from somewhere. But for the hood, the hypothetical hood, and goodness, I have not slept a lot today. For the collar, I've had this, what I'm assuming is poly taffeta. Hold on. Maybe I should go check that. Don't. Okay. I'm assuming that this is poly taffeta. I was measuring it to see how much I had, and I think it's like 6 yards. And so I thought I definitely had way less than I do. Like six, I might be able to like make, because this is giving me Regency. Maybe it's because it's like Bridgerton colors. I'm pretty sure I have this before I watched Bridgerton, and also I knew I kind of had a feeling I wanted to make something Regency out of this. Um, yeah. Now that I'm like playing with it and looking at it, goodness, yes. But that's for later. I keep talking about how I love historical sewing. I don't think I should do any of that, but I'll get to it. So I'm going to sew the three sides of that collar, leaving the neck edge free, and then just slam these pieces together and hope it makes this cool sci-fi vest that I saw. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. Spoiler alert, the party has already happened. That was days ago at this point. Um, it was not finished, but done enough to be wearable. The insides do not have finished seams. You can even see champagne stains on the poly silk, but whatever. So, where are we at the moment? I have one skirt hook right here. You can kind of see where it's sort of pulling or puckering where I have that. Oh, here, let me show you what the mask looks like. So I have one skirt hook in here. The rest I just pinned it. My friends are used to seeing me come with half finished stuff. That's how they know I made it. And I just put a pin. I realize my mic is right here. I have no idea what that sounded like. Goodness. Anyway, I put pins in the side to keep the mask up. Um, I then pinned like the under here. Let me take some of these out so you can see. I loved it. I looked amazing. It's not done, so we're gonna finish this. The way that these are the two sides of this wrap outfit, and that's also kind of cute. But I kind of wanted it to be, especially because I was wearing a high waisted skirt. I wanted a bit of midriff still showing, and so I I wanted to have all this tucked under. However, and I feel like if I hadn't put that skirt hook where I put it, which is right here, if I hadn't put it there, then maybe I could have something flat, like flat going across. Um, but then I didn't like how it was sitting up in the booble area when it was like flat. Like, and this is okay. I guess this is fine. But it was still coming down too low because like my skirt was coming pretty much up to my waist. And so I wanted something a little bit higher than that. And so when I pulled it over how I wanted it to sit across my boobs and I pinned it like where I thought it would look good, this is how it ended up. So I guess I could not do that, but I don't know. And also where the placement is, there is a bit of puckering. Sorry. Where are we gonna put this? Where? Here? Here? Oh, also, I'm getting sidetracked, but since we're here, for the arm's eye, or you know, sleeve finishing, but it's really just an arm's eye. I decided to just get some twill tape, cover it over that, and sew it down. Now I could have, what I would have preferred was to cut out a strip of this fabric. Maybe bias, maybe not. Oh, sorry. Maybe bias, maybe not. Um, but just so it's more cohesive. But we did not have time for that. This was a New Year's Eve party. We did not get there till 11:45. So there was no time. There was no time. So I just stitched on some black twill tape, and honestly, you can barely tell. Like I might go back and take it out and cut out strips of this outer fashion fabric and redo it. Maybe. No, no, no. No, no, no. I'm not too pressed. But anyway, once I have this skirt hook here, it also this is I'm wearing a different bra in this. I should probably put on the bra that I was wearing before, but I don't want to because this is where we are. And so maybe that is why it's sitting a bit different, just because there's a bit more compression in the sports bra. Um. Anyway, so I've been trying to figure out what wedge of fabric I need to take out so that this goes from curving down to being flat and or curving up into this, because this could be straight across. But honestly, when I was wearing the outfit, I liked that little bit of asymmetry because it was giving sci-fi. Mm, it just was. And so, let me fold this piece back in. I need to figure out where I want like this is fine, but like when I had it, it was like, oh, I probably need to go put on that same bra. It's not even a bra, it's like a compression tank that I was wearing underneath that my bodice block is also kind of fitted to. Um, but like it hung down a little bit, and honestly, it was cute. It was given cute asymmetry. Let me see if I can pull it back even more. Yeah, like that's where it was. And it was honestly very cute. So, we what I really want is this underneath part to not be there. And so that's just what I did the night of the party. I just tucked that bitch in and I pinned it to myself and hoped I didn't poke myself with it. Um, Knowing that we want what is that's I'm trying to figure out what wedge of fabric I need. Yeah, like I gotta take out like pretty much nothing from the bottom, but like I need to pretty much put a dart in here to get it to come up the way that I want. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out is what wedge of fullness do I need to remove to get this to line up the way that I want. And so that's where we are right now. It is wearable. It's wearable because I wore it. I wore it. Wasn't done. Wasn't finished, but I wore it. So basically, I'm just fiddling, trying to figure out what do I need to do to have this sit flush with the side that overlaps it. And part of it, that's almost. So maybe I just need to hem it a bit more because honestly, this was when I made it. It was. Ooh, I've already done. Okay, yeah. So I want. If you can see this, this is the hem, or at least the bottom part. I folded up like what is that? Maybe an inch and a quarter, and then sewed about half an inch up that to give the hem. And I want even more gone, mainly because of how the curves are sitting. Um, and I'm wondering, do I need to replace? I might need to replace where that skirt hook is, but when I wear it with the undergarments I had on, it sits a little different, which makes me think I should go put that on. But I'm already here. you know? Okay, how about this? I put in the fixes that I think I need to do. I'm gonna have to take this off anyway. Eventually, this worst bar will come off because it is late and I'm tired, and I don't need to be squished. And so, the next time I try this on, I will make sure that I keep these edits in and try it on over the appropriate undergarment. Because yeah, like it's pulling a little bit. So anyway, but got distracted. Back to what I was saying. I could hem this up even more, but that just seems so excessive. Oh, but this is cute. It's not even done and it's cute. I love this thing, especially when you got the mask. Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. I forgot I have food downstairs cooking, so let me go check on that, and I'll be right back. So, quite some time has passed. I wore the vest night of the party. It was wearable, not quite done, but wearable. So there was some pins still in there, still are now a few. But now I have added actual closures, which helps make it feel more finished and also help the collar stand out. But yeah, let me get all these. So I have one hook and eye right here. Then I have another one right here. It does leave a asymmetrical. Here, let me roll this down so it's easier to see what's happening down here. It has this asymmetrical curve, which I'm totally fine with. I added another hook and eye right here for when the collar's up, but I think when the collar's down, it's not really needed. But yeah, here she is in her glory. Ta-da! Pretty comfortable. And here, I have two hook and eyes on the lapel collar. I hope you guys can still hear me. What would have been really nice would have been to put. What? Oh, there we go. Maybe I should take you guys out of here and just hold it. But yeah, what would have been nice was to put maybe wire or something in the collar to help it stand up as it stands now. It's a little floppy, but the night of, it looked great. I just popped another pin in there, and I might be persuaded. Not really. I don't want to, because if you look closely, there is stitching all around the collar that I think I would have to undo to like put a wire or something in there. Or if I had interfaced it with something, it would probably stand up more. But honestly, I was happy with this, and I'm still okay with this garment. I don't often wear sci-fi stuff. Sorry, I'm sweating in here. It is so hot, y'all. I don't often wear sci-fi themed stuff, so I probably wouldn't wear this in my everyday, ensemble. But for something just for a party that was themed, I'm not mad at it. Look at look at I feel I don't know, like I should be in an anime or something. But yeah, there's totally things I could fix, redo, take out, refine. But if this was something I was gonna wear more often, I would probably take the time to do that. But for this, I might have occasion to wear it again every now and then. I do love this pop on the lapel. It looks great. I love it. And I might at some point wear it again. But I don't think I'm going to wear it enough to warrant me fixing all the things that's wrong with this, because I tried to sew it in one day. Not all of it, but like the majority of it in one day. Um, but yeah, I like her. She's cute. Well done. Okay, bye.